ready to get started. Everybody, I'm going to be speaking kind of lightly today. We're in a bullpen environment today, and I don't want to bother everybody that's in the room. So if you can't hear me, just let me know, and I'll try to speak up a little bit better. Today is class 2 on our Monday morning class. You only got here by invitation. If you did not complete the task done in class 1, you did not get an invitation. So consider yourself very special today. I'm going to be talking to you about how to build a bridge to the prospect. And you just need to know that just like all things, it's a process and not a product. So that's where we're going to go, and we're going to get this done. So the first thing I want to do is ask you a question. What is the logic behind building bridges in the sales process? Imagine you and a suspect were on opposite sides of a raging river. Just think about that for a minute. You can see that person that you want to do business with, but you cannot get them over to you, and you can't get over to them. You've got to find a way to make that happen. So first thing we want to do, and we talked about it in our last class, we had to discuss the definition of the suspect.
Said you can't do this in here. So you have to do it in there.
In the break room. Okay. So anyway,
Just this
okay. I'm switching spots again. We just got so busy in the office this morning. I keep getting moved around. Okay. All right. All right. So anyway, we've talked about the definition of the suspect. The next thing we have to do is get that suspect to agree to talk to us on a favorable basis about their estate plan. And folks, this is, if you can learn what I'm about to teach today, you're going to be home free the rest of your career, because this is the hardest part of the whole process. So your goal is to get your suspect to cross the river and agree to have a conversation about their current plan. That's the only thing you want to do in this conversation. Get them to agree to have a conversation about their current plan. So today I want to talk about that bridge, converting a suspect to a prospect by identifying a qualified prospect, which is someone who agrees to talk to you about their estate plan on a favorable basis. Nothing else. Don't try to sell them a product. Don't try to sell them anything except sell them the appointment and the reason for the appointment. That's it. They will appreciate it, and it'll make it a whole lot easier. So you have to keep the goal in mind. Establish the benefit of a discussion about your suspect's current plan, not the one you want them to buy, but do so in an intellectually absorbable way. Make it a no-brainer to move forward. And if it's a no-brainer to move forward, it's because it makes sense to do. And you got to remember, people are very selfish people, and they're not interested in what you get out of what you're asking. They're only interested in what they get out of it. So their benefit is that they might learn something in which they were not aware. So once you have decided to approach your suspect, you need to decide on the technique you will use. Now, we're all different. We may use the same technique on all 10 of our suspects. We may use 10 different approaches on all 10 different suspects. So your approach is when you bring up the topic of the desire to include your suspect in your project. So, I want you to be involved in my project of selling estate plans in a way that gives you a 6-figure income as quick as possible. And my goal minimum, an average C student should be making $250,000 a year. So, if you're going to approach somebody, you need to know that should be your only goal, to approach them about becoming a prospect, to talk to you about what you want to talk about on a favorable basis. So you do this by building a bridge, converting the suspect to a prospect. And if you do it right, you'll have a superior opportunity to make the front end sale. Now, again, that's all you want because you don't know what they have in assets. You don't know what they need. You don't know what their family structure is. You haven't done the family tree yet. You don't know what kind of real estate they own. You don't know what kind of long-term care plans. You don't know what their income is based on uh, uh, assets or not tied to assets. You don't know what their health situation is, and you don't know what their cumulative assets are. It's not even necessary. All you need is an agreement to talk to these people on a favorable basis about their current estate plan. That's how easy this is. And so many of us make it hard. So how do you do it right? Do you want to know how to do it right? So far, all you've done is chosen your target. That's all you've done. You want to discuss their current plan. Your goal is an appointment, not a sale, unless the sale is in making the appointment. So many of us try to go ahead and start closing the sale too soon. So if the goal is to set the appointment for the family estate doc's go-to interview, that should be go-to first interview. You want to make the appointment within 1 week. If it's not within 1 week, don't count it. Put them in as a suspect into your next week. You put yourself at a disadvantage when you are not sincere about wanting to have the appointment. Let your suspect know you want to work them into your busy schedule. And keep it slow, keep it calm. But let's discuss the odds of success. Um, let's say there's a pond with 10 fish in the water, and you know there's 10 fish in there, and you want to catch all 10 of them. You just need to remember that when it comes to the estate planning world, 5 will have no plan at all. Now, it could be that they have no plan at all because they have no money and no ability to pay. If you're approaching those people, that's not a good idea. But if you approach 5 middle-class people, they will have no plan at all. 5 will have a current will or trust. There used to be an old joke with the Three Stooges. Curly had lost something, and in a dark basement, and they asked Curly why he was up in the living room looking for it, and he says, "Because the light was better." But he was never going to find it, even though it was easier to look for it. And that's what happens when we pick suspects that are already disqualified because they don't have the ability to pay. But 5 will have no plan at all. 5 will have a current will or trust. And 4 of the second 5 will either not understand what they have or will need to make some changes because they've had a relationship change, an asset change, or a health change. Your odds are 9 out of 10 that these folks will meet with you on a favorable basis to discuss their current plan if that's the only thing you'll approach them on. So you're in this class because you qualified. You got your suspects together. A couple of you didn't quite get 10. I'm just going to let you in. Just if I was grading it, I'd give you a C minus or a D because you didn't get 10. But if you only got 4 or 5, work on it a little harder. Don't it's your responsibility and your reward, and it's your issue if you can't get 10. If you can't get 10, it's because you wouldn't let yourself get 10. So this is what I want you to say to these people. I don't want you to say anything else. I think you would benefit from a conversation with me about your current estate plan. That's it. If they ask why, I say I have learned that people who have this conversation learn things in which they were not aware. That's all. Shut your mouth after you say that. Let them tell you if they have time next week to meet you for an appointment. And if they don't have time next week, do not count them as an appointment for next week. Don't fool yourself. Don't try to fool me. It won't matter. Uh, if you turn in 10 people and don't get 731, I'm going to try to figure out why. And if you talk to me honestly, we'll figure it out why. And I hope it's not because you pick bad suspects. You have to pick quality suspects. So, so most of your suspects know they need to do it. They think it's going to cost too much. They do not want to take the time to get it done. And most of all, they have never been properly approached. So remember those 10 fish in that pond? Most of them have never been shown a really nice lure that will make them make a decision to take a bite. And they're the winners. They're the ones that benefit the most if they take that bite. So just remember, your suspects, most of them, know they need to do it. They think it'll cost too much. They do not want to take the time to do it, and they've never been properly approached. Man, that makes the market one of the easiest markets to dive into. So once they agree to meet, you can right then if I agreed to meet you, and here it is Monday, and I agreed to meet you either late this week or early next week, and then I receive a video from you called The Coming Storm, which you have in your inventory on your website. Send them that video and say, hey, before we meet, watch this video. It takes about 3 minutes. They'll watch the video. It it will confirm that they need to do it. And they will appreciate the fact that you approached them and then considered them as someone that you would like to have that conversation with. If you're doing anything else, you're making a mistake. So you cannot build a proper bridge to the back end sale if you're struggling with the bridge to the prospect conversion. Now, let me say that again. You cannot build a proper bridge to the back end sale if you're struggling with the bridge to prospect conversion. It's okay not to be ready to build a bridge to the back end sale as long as you're building the bridges of suspect to prospect. Because if you make the appointment for next week, you've got a whole week to be in panic. You've got a whole week to study up. You've got a whole week to go to randallbaxter.com and look at the videos that you need to see. You've got a whole week to do the classes and the videos that are on your family estate doc software. You'll get prepared if you make the appointment. And remember, I've told people over and over and over and over and over and over, you only have to be one step ahead of your prospect or your suspect, one step ahead. So it's okay not to be ready to build the bridge to the back end sale as long as you're building the bridges of the suspect to prospect, and then building the bridge of prospect to client with the Family Estate Docs go-to first interview. The system is superior to what most people use. It's superior to what you've been taught in the past. It's easy to learn and to master, and it makes it a no-brainer. In the 9 o'clock class this morning, I talked about people who don't have a return on their investment. If your on your investment is $495, you only have to make one sale in a year to get your return on your investment back. And that's one of the easiest investments you may could ever make. So let's teach you and your downline how to prosper with a process that leads to conversations about estate planning and funding. That's my mission. Let me teach you to be a process professional and not a product pusher. Your first decision is how to make the initial contact. You've already got your suspect list. That's how you got to this class. Now you got to decide, is it going to be a phone call, a text, an email, a handwritten note? Maybe send them the coming storm video, then call and tell them why you sent it to them. Well, so why'd you send it to them? You sent it to them because you thought they would benefit from a conversation with you concerning the current estate plan. Folks, it's really just that easy to implement. Are you going to be perfect the first time? I hope so, but probably not. You probably won't be 10-7-3-1. You might be 10-5-2-0. But it's just the first week and you've made progress, because it doesn't matter about any of your failures. What matters is the fact that maybe 5 people agreed to set an appointment with you. That's amazing. I'll be honest with you. I think it's been months since someone told me that when I asked that they didn't give me the appointment, because it's the way I ask. God asks that way too. So, so, uh, so anyway, I want to tell you a story because this is important. But it's about the first time I ever went rappelling. So I want you to understand what the definition of going rappelling is. That's when you descend a rock face or cliff or another near vertical surface by using a double rope uh, uh, wrapped around your body and fixed to a higher point, and you're going to walk down the side of that mountain or walk down the side of that cliff. I did that. But having never done it at the time and being afraid of heights, I was apprehensive about the experience. I wasn't sure I wanted the experience. Some of you sometimes are not sure you want to be rejected. Some of you are not sure you want to find out if you can pick 10 people in order to get 7 appointments. But I had a hard time looking over the precipice because I'm afraid of heights. I can't even look off a big building without getting, I call it heebie-jeebies. But I watched the others put on the safety gear, and I watched them back over the cliff for the 200-foot journey to the bottom. I kept thinking, why am I here? What am I doing here? Why did I agree to do this? And then it got to be my turn. And I was about to run. My friends were watching. They were encouraging me to walk off that cliff backwards and to trust the equipment. And I wasn't even sure I could look over that cliff, much less lean forward and put my body parallel to the 200-foot cliff. And I'll be honest with you, I was scared. I lacked confidence and I wanted to run, hide. But my coach there said all I had to do was lean backward and start walking down the cliff wall. Well, that seemed like a pretty big order to me. So I had to make 3 decisions. And folks, I'm going to be honest with you. Some people cannot qualify. If there's one of these decisions you cannot qualify for estate planning, you should not be involved. But the first thing is, are you able to do it? The next one is, do you want to do it? And the next one is, are you willing to do it? And I'll be honest with you, I wasn't sure I was even able to back off the side of that cliff. And I didn't want anybody to know how scared I was. Did I want to do it? Yeah, I wanted to do it. And was I willing to do it? Well, I wasn't quite convinced I was willing to do it yet. So I was frozen solid. But I was hooked up, and my coach checked everything for security's sake, and I listened to his words of encouragement. And then I heard my friends down at the bottom of the cliff going, "Hey, Randy, come on down." Excuse me. I was scared, had no confidence. I leaned back and looked over my shoulder and saw the cliff, and the people down below seemed so small. Yep, heebie-jeebies. So I the coach said, lean back. And oh God, that was the hardest lean back I could ever think about. And he looked at me and said, trust your equipment, trust your training. He said, everyone has fears the first time. Well, that was my first time, and yeah, I was scared. And he looked at me and said, I have taught you well. And there's an experienced belayer below who can control the speed of your descent if you lose control. That's true with us. You know, if you lose control of what you're doing, we'll be able to find out what it is and fix it for you before you fall. But you got to try. So I had heebie-jeebies and a lack of confidence. And that was the only thing stopping me from being one of those people below who had conquered those fears. Once I leaned over and took the first step, I realized there's no going back. You can't walk back up that cliff. So I did what I was taught and I walked down that wasn't a 20-foot cliff. It was a 200-foot cliff by myself. That's 2/3 of a football field. Really, I didn't walk down by myself. I had a coach up at the top encourage me, and I had a belayer down at the bottom who was also a coach telling me that it was okay and that I would get through it. And although there were many, many steps there, I didn't think I was going to get through it. Each step took me closer to my goal. My goal was reaching the bottom. My confidence grew as I got closer to the bottom. And when I got down there, I'm almost ashamed to tell you, the 12-year-old girl who had gone before me asked me a question. Did I like it? She said she wanted to do it again and that she trusted the process and saw how easy it was to do. The same thing will happen to you in your marketing program. So, so it's always easier the second time. The first one was the hardest. You have 10 to learn from. You've already generated your best 10 suspects, and those are your best 10 suspects as a rookie. And those people are probably your friends or people who've done business with you in the past, and they're not going to tell you no. 3 of them are going to tell you no, 7 of them will tell you yes. Maybe all 10 of them will say yes. I don't think all 10 will say no. If all 10 say no, you're either not very good at picking your suspects, or people don't know you, like you, trust you, or uh, you have to question whether you should even be in the financial services business or not. But it's easier if you are approaching people who have done business with you in the past. And this is exactly how it should go down. You selected 10 suspects. That's why you're in this class. They are either already clients or part of the 600 people you already know. Remember, we talked about that recently. Everybody knows about 600 people. Of those 10, 7 will agree to talk to you on a favorable basis if you approach them in one of the ways I described earlier. 3 will buy from you if you do the family tree asset positioning go-to first interview correctly. I will want an immediate back-end repositioning interview within a week for one. Let's talk about it and let's talk about why they didn't make that appointment. But that will lead you to the back-end sale. If that doesn't happen, we should discuss the quality of your suspect or the quality of your presentation. Do they know you, like you, trust you? Did you say what I taught you to say? What were the reasons for saying no? Remember, 3 are going to say no. 3 of them are going to have legitimate reasons. One's going to have to do their hair, and one's going to have to uh, go to a funeral. They're going to be good reasons. They may not be real reasons, but what were their reasons for saying no? You should be preparing your second 10 suspects already, right now. Before this week is over, you should have your second 10 suspects ready to go. If uh, if you're not, it depends on your tempo. 10 good quality suspects could take you a whole month to get through. But if you just start out 10 a week for about 3 or 4 weeks, you'll be busy the rest of the year. But if you can't develop those 10 suspects, ask yourself why not? What is it? You know, if you know 600 people and can't pick 10, ask yourself what the problem is. Make the appointment today. You know, this week, this should be your only task. Contact those 10 people or ask yourself why you did not contact those people. If you saw Star Wars, Yoda in Star Wars said, there is no try. There's only do or don't. And I know that picture's not Yoda, but the message is the same. There is no try. If you want to get involved in estate planning business and you want to follow our process, approach those 10 people. See if my numbers aren't right. And if they're not right, let's find out why. So your success is determined by the quality of the suspects you select. Quality in, quality out. Garbage in, garbage out. Each time you select new suspects, you'll get better. Soon you'll be getting referrals. I picked up 4 referrals last week. It was really, 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 really easy to do it because they were witnesses on the estate plans I was delivering. That's part of the cycle of success that we teach, is to start using your witnesses as part of the people in your suspect list. So if you want to be in the 11 o'clock class next Monday, you have to qualify in your task for the class today. The class next week is the family tree asset positioning go-to first interview. I'm going to show it to you. I'm going to demonstrate it for you. I'm going to show you how easy it is using the agenda. But to get into the 11 o'clock class, you have to have a minimum of 1 to 3 appointments. But be careful. You might have 7. I don't think you'll have 10, but you might. If you're really, really good, you'll have 10. But I just want you to have 1 to 3 right now. I need you to get this done by Thursday afternoon. Use your spreadsheet that you sent me your suspects in, and when you make your appointment, move them over to the prospect column. The suspects you cannot move, leave them on your suspect list unless they tell you no, they don't want to talk to you at all and they don't think they'll benefit. Take them off the list. But going into the next week, you should have a new 10 suspects. You know, I'm going to brag and say you have the right coaching. You have the right gear. Just lean back and take the first step. It works, but only if you use it, only if you take that step. I don't know how I got down that cliff, but when I got down it, I was not afraid of any cliff ever again. So let's just stop right there and see if you have any questions on what we need to do. Lisa, are there any questions in there?
No, nothing in the chat, Randall.
Okay, so
Can I-
people, go
Hi,
ahead.
Randall. Can I ask you a question?
So of course,
Yes. So, I mean, this is just one of my appointments. Can I ask it here?
if you want to.
Yes. So what happened is that, you know how at the beginning of the interview you say if you went to a lawyer is somewhere 3,500 to 5,500, somewhere around there. But I'm gonna be honest with you, our retail cost is 1995. I said, okay. So the guy thought I'm saying $19, but which I doubted. Okay, I doubted that when I'm contrasting 3,000 to 1995, that is understood as $19 less than $20. So I do. He agrees. I do the sale. So then when I charge it, he's like, "Why is it like 2,000?" I said,
Okay.
"Didn't I?" So I don't know. Is this like my fault or like they don't? What's the problem? I'm just curious to
Okay.
understand.
Okay. Felicia, that's your fault.
It's my fault. Is it
Yeah,
because
you
why?
just need to learn to say, first of all, he was taking advantage of you, but you should be sure that you say $1,995. 1995 does sound like 1995. Um, if somebody wants to hold you to the fire. So, but don't worry about it. You know, we all make mistakes when we go in. It was just a miscommunication, a
Yeah,
trusting miscommunication.
miscommunication. Yeah, miscommunication. I thought, I mean, it's very obvious. I mean, don't people know that trust is not $19?
Well, you know, are all people willing to take advantage of an opportunity that they think they can take advantage of? You know, don't worry about it. I wouldn't even want that person as a client. He knew that he knew that, but since you had that problem, you have to be the one that corrects it in the future. So
Okay,
you need to be sure that you flash $1,995 up on your screen, and have the decimal in the right place. And that
okay. Thank
just
you.
I'm glad you're working as hard as you're working. Keep it
Yeah.
up.
Yes, thank
Keep
you.
it
No,
up.
I love this
Okay.
work, but and I really didn't mean to say $19. I just thought it's so obvious.
Well, we have an old saying down here in the hills of Tennessee. It's failure will make a few. And that's all you can do is you made a mistake. He capitalized on it and he attacked you on it and he knew better. He was just taking advantage. And
Yes,
if he's that dumb, I try to pick some smarter suspects.
no, but he makes good money, Randall. He makes
Well,
700,000 a year
okay.
income.
Well, then he was just being a jerk. He knew it. And it's okay. Be nice to him. Tell him that that you're sorry he misunderstood. Uh, that you didn't mean for him to misunderstand, and that the going price is $1,995. And if he doesn't like it, you're sorry. There's no way you can do it for $19.95, and that you won't. Okay,
Yes,
just don't worry about it. This if that's the only mistake you're making, man, you're doing good. Just don't make it again, and you'll be perfect.
yes, thank you.
Okay. Anybody else out there have a question?
Hey, hey, Randy, this is Victor Hall. Can you hear me okay?
I can, Victor, all the way in Crossville.
All right. Yeah, little drive. But hey, I got a question. I probably should ask you this privately, but I have a individual that was on top of my list, and I knew they were having a little bit of financial difficulty with the IRS from a 2018 and 2019 situation.
Okay.
But they are people of extreme means, and they're a little bit close to me in relationship, friend wise, and but they are very anxious about getting a trust. They're a little late with the situation, but they didn't know about this before with me, but they have had business relationship with me. Have you ever had anybody with a situation they think they can't get a trust, or maybe they can't? I don't know the answer to that, but
There's,
they've asked.
okay. Okay, Victor, I do. There's nothing's going to stop somebody from doing an estate plan if they have an issue with the Internal Revenue Service. That the Internal Revenue Service doesn't care on as long as you're not trying to hide the money in an irrevocable trust. If you have a revocable trust, you're not trying to hide anything. You're just trying to pick the rules of distribution and the people that you trust the most to represent you when your ability to represent yourself stops. You're not changing the Social Security number. You're not hiding any assets because your trust functions on your Social Security number. So there's no problem with the IRS.
That is
Again,
good. That's going to be my
there,
first.
there's okay that there's no problem with the IRS unless you're trying to hide the asset. They don't like that.
That's
With
right.
it
Okay.
to,
That's
to hide the asset, you would give the trust a different EIN number. You're not doing that. Your revocable trust works off your Social Security number. So
okay.
there's nothing to hide. There's nothing to hide there. You go get them.
Okay. Sounds good. I appreciate your answer. We'll be talking soon.
All right. Anybody else out there have any questions? All I can say to you is I'd like to see every one of you in the 11 o'clock class next week, because that would mean that there could be over 100 approaches and 70 go-to first interviews and probably 30 estate plans. And I've probably written 300 estate plans myself. Uh, I know that I have changed the lives and the futures of 300 families, their children, their grandchildren. I've done it in a way that the person who owns the assets wants it done and keeps them in control even from the grave. And I mean, if you're confident about that, and if that's, again, I'll go back to you, if you're able to do that for people, and if you want to do that for people, and if you're willing to do that for people, you can follow up on those 10 suspects and make your appointments and watch your life change, watch your income go up, watch their lives change, watch their asset security go up, and watch them tell other people about you. That's what happens. Anything else?
Nothing more in the chat.
Am I that good that we can do things and not have any questions? The
Indeed.
folks do what?
Indeed, you are.
Well, I'm just honest, and all I want you to do is to just, if it's your first time, just think about dumb old Randy backing over that cliff, scared to death, and that little 12-year-old girl down there going, come on down, and how embarrassed I was to have that little 12-year-old girl coach me down that cliff. It's that easy to do. Not going down the cliff, but asking people to have a conversation with you about their current estate plan. So I hope I get to talk to all of you next week at 11 o'clock Eastern Standard Time. That means you will have major appointments. You will have moved those names over in the column from suspect to prospect, at least 1 to 3 of them, but probably 3 to 7, and maybe 7 to 10. And the only problem you'll have after that is trying to schedule time for the next class because you're going to be so busy writing estate plans. So anyway, I'm going to let you go. I've got a delivery to do today, and a couple of licensees to talk to, and some gravel to get out of the back of my pickup truck. So anyway, at
Randy,
least yes, sir.
I did talk to an agent who is interested in doing the estate planning business. How do you want me to proceed with that?
Okay, on your website, your master licensee, your website will let you go in to send them a link to sign up under you. If you want to call me here in a minute, or you just go to your website and pull up, and you'll look over there, and you'll have a column in there that says network. And when you click on it, and not if you're not a master licensee, you don't have that network column. If you want to be a master licensee, send me an email and I'll show you how to qualify. But go in there and punch network, and it'll come down and give you a link, and you send them that link. Just copy and paste it. And when they sign up, it'll take them to a page where they can either pay the $49.95 monthly or the $495 annual, and they become a licensee automatically.
Which class should I bring her to? I want to.
Okay, bring her to the 9 o'clock class Monday morning. Just get her psyched up and tell her to attend next Monday's class at 9 o'clock, or take her to randallbaxter.com and do chapter 4, which is let me teach you how to hunt.
Okay.
Because I want all of our new people to engage themselves in the cycle of success. It's the ones who are actively engaged in the cycle of success that are consistently writing business. So
Okay.
I have to think there's something about that works, and I live it and do it. Excuse me. All right. So good luck. Get them signed up.
Okay.
If you need help, let me know.
Okay.
Okay. Go to your website, find network, click on network, and you'll see a link there. You can practice it and click on it yourself, and you'll see where the landing page goes to make them a licensee.
Okay.
All right.
Thank
Anybody
you.
else out there? And then see to it that they make it a point to be at the 9 o'clock Eastern Standard Time class this coming Monday. And
Okay.
then we'll get them into the 10 o'clock class, then the 11 o'clock class, and the 12 o'clock class, and then they'll say, Randy, I can't attend the class anymore. I'm too busy writing business. That's
All
how
right.
it works. All right. Anybody else? Okay. Lisa, send me a list of everybody that attended 9 o'clock, 10 o'clock, and
I will do. I'll get the list to you and both recordings.
and move them over on the Monday.com spreadsheets.
Yes, I will do.
All right, everybody. Have a great week. I'm right here if you need me.
So
Bye.
much. Bye.
Thank you.